Hello, ladies. It's Kalua. How did everything go? So, we are here in the first energy center to ground ourselves. So, let's go backwards for a second. And last week, or last session, we talked about the collusion cleanse and just some different techniques that you can use in your day to day to just help you sort of clear the canvas, right? Create some good practices and just start to give your body a little bit of cleaning and attention, right? Your body and your mind, actually. So, if you recall, I talked about no matter what, if you have just attempted one thing, it's a win, right? You didn't have to do that entire thing perfectly in order for it to be a success. Just if you picked one thing out of there and tried it out for the week, that's a win. So, how did that go? Did you have certain things that you were pulled more towards and other things that maybe were not as important for you yet? Reflect back. One of the biggest wins in this is to have that awareness of where you are now and where you're going. And yes, there may be a lot of things to do, but you have plenty of time to do them, right? So if you feel pretty successful about what you did do, then go ahead and maybe start looking at adding another one. If not, and we're getting into some of our other stuff, maybe you're saying, no way, that's okay too, okay? All right. So as I mentioned, we're starting in that root chakra area, right? So this is where we find our stability, our foundation, the house. And I talked about it's located at the perineum, so by the tailbone. And as you may well know now, the surprise may be over. Once you did your movement, we journaled on the topic of money. Money. That's a big one. So the whole idea of our movement, right, was we really looked at moving our feet and our legs. These are the parts of the body that are associated with this energy center. And by moving them and really stirring things up, opening things, and then we journal on the topic, what it does is it starts to unveil for you some of the things that you might be feeling deep inside that maybe you didn't even know about. Remember, we talked in the last one about your beliefs are just a series of thoughts. Sometimes those thoughts came so early on that we didn't even know, that we don't even remember the actual thought itself. It just kind of happened over time. It became this belief. So the reason I start with money as the journaling topic is because it's a pretty significant one for probably almost everyone. No matter how much or how little you have, money seems to be a big source of tension for many people. And of course, if you don't have enough money, you surely don't feel stable and grounded. You're feeling worried about losing your home right? So not having enough money is a great source of tension. Or maybe you have enough to pay the bills, but you're in a lot of debt, and that can be a great source of tension. So, money, money really becomes this major source of issue in this energy area. Part of it too is, many of us are trying to manifest more, right? Abundance in our lives, whether it be time, money, all these different things that we need in order to be successful, perhaps in our businesses, in our careers, in our homes. So for many of us, we work towards manifesting this abundance, and yet we're finding that it's not happening. And what could be happening is, and maybe some of it was unveiled to you in your journaling, is that maybe your relationship with money is a little bit damaged. Um, you know, it was pointed out to me a couple of years ago that when you go back and look at all of the TV shows, all of this stuff that media has put out there for us, and you look at, the villain is always the rich one, and the hero is, that Robin Hood, and go back through time. I mean, goodness, there's so many shows, Dynasty and Gilligan's Island, and then even more recently, Gossip Girl, and just all of these types of shows that really portray people with money as very awful people. And so then we start to embody that, like, well, I really would like a lot of money, but rich people are jerks, so block, right? One of the things that you can start to do here is turn those thoughts around. Start to look at, well, there are a lot of really amazing people who have a lot of money, and what are some of the things that they do with their money? And start to look for those role models and those positive people. They're not only good for you, but they're also good for your children. And to see that there's people out there that really do some amazing things. If you're lucky enough to have done well, then, paying it forward. And there are plenty of those people out there. Unfortunately, sometimes those are not the people that get a lot of publicity. It doesn't mean they're not out there. So sometimes we just have to find those role models and look towards it. So as you're saying, I'm starting to look at taking those thoughts that may have been revealed to us. So if you found in your journaling some negative thoughts around the topic, then let's go ahead and reverse those. Remember, it's just a series of thoughts. So take that thought and reverse it. Change it to something positive for you. And now start to tell yourself that. So when you find yourself in different situations, remind yourself of that thought. So, if your reveal in the journaling was people with a lot of money are, terrible people. I don't want to be negative. I don't want money to ruin my life. I, don't want to lose time with my family because I'm so worried about making money. Then start to reverse those. Take the statement and say, money is only energy. And so if I open up the energy and I love energy, then I love money also. And it's okay. It's okay. And I share my energy and I share my love and I share my money, right? So it doesn't have to make you a bad person if you're manifesting money into your life. It's energy. So start to find different ways to look at it and to repeat that to yourself, to tell yourself that I am good with abundance, right? I am only better with abundance because I can take care of more people than just myself. I can do good things, right? So taking care of me, once again, creates this ripple effect all around me. Okay? So what do you think? Take a moment to think on that. You can pause if you need to. Think of how you want to reverse the statement, or on the other hand, if you're having your reveal is that you're in a really good place on this topic, then let's reinforce it. Let's go ahead and keep saying that to yourself and start looking at visions of, wow, how can I be even more abundant? How can I do more with what I do have? All right. So as we look at this area of energy, I've talked about emotions being held in the body, energy blocks. There's all these different things that once they get held in the body, they start creating physical and mental issues for you. So some of the physical symptoms that you would see in this area is obesity, anorexia, sciatica pain, and constipation. And then the mental health issues are going to be stress, anxiety, and fear. You know, when you don't feel grounded, like you don't have a foundation or a support system under you, then you start to feel really anxious, and that there is no safety net, and everything you could do could be just you falling and crashing to the ground. So here's where we're going to start to, besides just taking that reveal and either reinforcing it or reverse engineering it, here's some of the different actions that you can take in your everyday life to reinforce this area, to open it up, to let the energy start to flow again. All right. So remember, I talked, you are what you eat. So foods are a big part of the energy, the emotion, the physical, all of it. Foods are a huge part of all of this. So the foods of this area, because this is a much denser area, right? This is the foundation, right? That cement basement, So this is going to be a really dense area. And as you move up the body with the energy, it will get lighter and lighter and lighter. But we start here at the foundation where it's really dense and heavy. So this is where we look at your proteins. If you are someone who eats meat, then this is an area where you would be looking at the quality of your meats. So, things like no hormones, no, antibiotics, no, no inhumane conditions, right? So you can see now a lot of places will get that seal on the meats now that says humanely raised, certified humanely raised. And of course, chicken and poultry, any poultry product is going to be hormone and antibiotic free. It's actually the law. They have to do that. So those ones you've got for sure. Then you want to pay a little bit more attention to the red meat because they're not required by law to do that. So just looking at the quality of your meats, if you can start to move into more of an organic product, then do that. But I would say some of the biggest things would be to look for those additives and the humanely raised. If you are not a meat eater, what you want to start looking at is the quality of the proteins that you are getting. So for many plant-based eaters or vegetarians, you're going to be eating maybe tofu, soy, things like that. So soy is another one. You just want to be careful of the quality. So soy is one that I really do suggest doing in organic, just because it is such a large subsidized crop. There tends to be a lot of GMO happening there, which means there's a lot of pesticide, and also more of the non-traditional soy products. So like processed soy. So when you're going and getting like those fake burgers and things like that, those are the type of soy products that are going to start to mess with your hormones and start giving you some issues that you don't want. The whole idea of eating better is to improve your health or, make it optimal. And those will do the opposite. The way you want to have your soy is more the traditional preparation. So that fermented or things like tofu or tempeh are very good options for that. So again, you just really want to look at the quality. Then there's, things like quinoa that is, an amazing, it probably falls under the category of grain, but contains lots of protein. It contains a lot of vitamins, and it contains, just really good things to help you thrive. And so it's a great way to get some protein in when you're not consuming meat. So the other thing I talk about here is root vegetables. So what's really interesting about root vegetables is that they grow into the ground. And energetically, they sort of help to ground you. So if you're feeling kind of all over the place, and I've heard people say that, when they have a big speech coming up, right, and they're kind of anxious and they're all over the place and trying to prepare and da da da, they'll start consuming a lot more root vegetables to help them feel more grounded. So this is just a really interesting way to not only eat well, but to use the energetics of the food that you're eating to help you emotionally and physically. Some really great root vegetables, of course, would be like sweet potatoes and onions and carrots, all those really great things that grow into the ground. So emotional practice would be practicing gratitude here. So that feeling like I said before, where you feel like sometimes that you're not working with a safety net and any wrong choice is going to end up crashing to the ground. So this is where that practicing gratitude and seeing that all the amazing things that you do have in your life, right, sort of shifts that. And we want to shift from that place of fear to faith, right? And so by looking at, wow, look what I've done. Look at all of, I have a beautiful family. I have, all of the things that you do have, then that starts to shift the mindset. And I actually just recently had written an article about, I had read somebody else's article about practicing ingratitude, and that this person was so stressed out about the fact that there were so many things going on. And I mean, we're talking, this person was like really in the worst case, like, major relationship breakup, dog died, apartment being taken away. I mean, like everything that could possibly be going wrong at once was going wrong. And, that sucks. There's just no other way around it. But then what was happening was she was making herself feel so much worse when she couldn't have gratitude, when she felt like she wasn't being authentic in finding things to be grateful for. And then it just made her even more depressed. And I do agree with that to a point. So instead of finding things to be ungrateful for, right, I think that finding gratitude for the things that suck sometimes is really important. I mean, sometimes it doesn't feel real good right now, but you know what? I'm here, I'm breathing, the sun is shining, and I know that there's something that's going to come from this, right? From the breakdown comes the breakthrough. So I am grateful for whatever lesson is coming from this right now, because we all know that the things that we go through make us stronger, and they give us what we need to share with others, to help other people, right? So finding that gratitude in that which sucks is really important. And it's probably the most important time to practice gratitude. And I've been there, gritting my teeth, and, the washer machine broke down, and the car and and everything is all at once. And it's like, okay, breathe. I am grateful for, and just finding it, and be okay with allowing your emotions to run their course. Be okay with that. Sometimes we strive to have this positive mindset and attract all of this positive to us, that sometimes it becomes inauthentic. It's very superficial. We're pressing all these emotions on the inside, and we're smiling and saying, but I'm being really positive and grateful. but we feel tense and so let them have their course. It's okay to feel your feelings. Even when you're practicing gratitude, I am grateful that I'm pissed right now because I'm truly pissed and I'm authentic about it. Okay? That's all right. That's all right. And a lot of times, what you're going to find is that's going to release, and then that's going to allow you to move forward instead of staying stuck there. And that's actually how all these little places, like these energy places in our body, get stuck, is by us holding that all in. So please practice gratitude for the good things, for the things that are not so good, for everything, because you're here and you're amazing, okay? And then some other things to help lifestyle practices, moving. So this is that dense area, right? And physical activity is the best way to get things moving. So you already have the movement video. You could do that. You can go for a walk. You can do any type of movement that makes you feel good. Gardening, anything that, you know, I'm a big fan of functional fitness. So anything that you really, really enjoy and gets you moving and doing something, then it's wonderful. Playing with the kids, right? So another one is clearing out your home, right? This is that area of your stability, your nest, right? And when it feels like everything is closing in on you because it's uncluttered or just everything is everywhere, and you know how that is sometimes when you know you have something really important to do and you just can't even start it because the house is such a mess. So you have to go clean the house before you can even start on this project. That's sort of that same idea. Clear out the home so you can feel good, so that you can and start to think clearly, right? Organizing yourself, minimizing. I actually have it scheduled in my calendar once a month to have a throw out party. So to start going through this junk that really accumulates, like my kids love to take boxes from Costco and turn them into stuff. But then after a while, the boxes are just sitting there. They've run their course, right? Well, let's get them out. Okay. You know, different things like that just start to accumulate in your home, especially when you have kids that love to accumulate everything. Just sneak them out of there and organize the house again. So these are really active ways that you can start to support this area. Now, let's look at some of the mindset ways. So as I talked, you know, as you did already, journaling, you did money. Okay, and I chose money to start with, like I said, because it's such a big issue for so many people. However, other areas that you can journal on are home, stability, focus, right? So anytime that you do this, you can choose one of those to go ahead and journal on and see what starts to come up for you. And then again, going through that process of reinforcing or reverse engineering. And now this is one of those areas, because I know sometimes it seems like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? This is where I'm here to help you. So if we've got our coaching call, bring these to the coaching call. If we have a clarity huddle coming up, bring that to the huddle. And we'll start to go through them and see how can you use these reveals for you. So the other one is meditation. And what I want to encourage you to do is to not get psyched out by the term meditation. I once worked with a woman who felt like she didn't know how to meditate. And I said, well, all you have to do is just sit quietly, breathe. And she was like, well, no, isn't there like some sort of trick and to get to this? No, the idea of meditation is we're surrounded in activity and sound, and our thoughts constantly go, 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 go. And the idea of meditation is just to give yourself a break from all of that. Sitting in silence, right? Just calming the mind. And I think sometimes people feel like they're a failure at meditation because the thoughts still come when you try to sit in silence. And that's not a fail. Now you're just aware that you have all these thoughts, and that's okay. So thank the thoughts for passing through, send them on their way. Don't sit there and deliberate on them, just send them on their way. Thank you for stopping by, and keep on going, and more may come, and that's okay. Just keep sending them on their way, and just breathe. And every time you do it, it'll get easier and easier. And for me personally, I find that it's easiest to do that after movement. I always say you move your body to clear your mind. That's why the program is set up the way it is. We move, we meditate, and then we journal. Okay? So that's why I have that set up that way. Get it out, loosen everything all up, purge it out of your body, calm the mind, and then let everything come out. Let it be revealed to you. So don't get freaked out about meditation. It's just being quiet for a minute. And you know what? I'm with you if you're like, well, my kids don't allow, trust me. I have been sitting there trying to meditate with a kid plopping in my lap, or it's okay. It's all right. Just keep breathing. And what I found is that they start to respect that space. Even if they're right near you, sometimes they might just come sit right next to you. And that's okay, because you can have that awareness of them being there. And sometimes it might be really good for them, very calming to see you so calm. So one of the things I like to do in this area for meditation, because sometimes it's hard to just sit and not think. So I like to use imagery, and I like to lay down flat. I know sometimes it's encouraged that you sit up nice and tall, but you can sit or you can lay down flat, and whatever part of your body is touching the earth, you can just start to visualize it growing roots that are just growing deep down into the earth and just holding you, cradling you, connecting you, and just almost like this, as if you would cradle a baby, right? The earth is cradling you and supporting you. And just that sense of you don't need a safety net. The whole thing is holding you, right? You're not going to fall anywhere. You're connected. You're already there. All right. So moving into that mantra. So you can have the mantra that you came up with in either reinforcing or reverse engineering the thought that came out, or the belief that came out of your journaling, right? Or you can pick something like, I am grounded, I am secure, I am safe, I am abundant, right? Anything that's going to resonate with you and where you're feeling a little bit vulnerable in this area. And just repeat it to yourself every day when you're feeling like you're needing it. So you can do it just as you wake up every morning. I am secure. I am abundant. Whichever one. And to honestly, to say that to yourself first thing in the morning as you wake up and last thing at night before you go to sleep is a fantastic way to start to create new pathways in your brain. Okay? The first thought of the day before all that other stuff starts to work its way in. And that last thought, now when you go to sleep and all the process that your brain is going to do to process your day, that's going to be in there. And it's going to start to take hold. Because it's true. It's true. It's just there's this other stuff that has clogged things up in there, and we just want to get it back. So another way to support this area, which I just think is really fun, but it's really effective, is the color red. This area is symbolized by the color red. And I find that if you maybe are wearing some red clothing or a scarf or something that will really take your mind back to it. It's just a visual cue for you as you go through your day. Like if you're feeling a little bit funky, you're feeling like, this just happened financially, or this just happened with the home, or what have you, and you see that little red and you're like, oh, trigger and trigger that mantra. It's that reminder, right? Jewelry. One of the really great things. You know, my daughter actually is very much into gemstones, and she will make jewelry out of them, and she uses the properties of these gemstones to reinforce a lot of these energies and different things. But really just a great easy way is, you know, any of the gemstones that have red in them are going to have properties to help reinforce this area for you. um, you know, putting things in the home, flowers. Go out and buy some flowers that are red and sit them right on the table, and just, you know, having that red energy in the home. You know, so there's just a lot of fun little ways if you like to draw or paint, you know, doing a red focus for the week or 2 weeks, or, you know, so there's just a lot of little ways that you can um, incorporate this and reinforce this with it being fun and pleasurable and not too stressful. All right, so I want to go back to the message of cleanse the canvas, right? Clearing the canvas, where I said bite-sized pieces. So once again, I'm talking bite-sized pieces with this. Am I expecting you to change your food, your lifestyle, and your emotions in a week or two? No, I'm not. Am I encouraging you to maybe pick the area that you think needs the most help? So if you feel like, well, you know what, my food is pretty good right now, but my house is a disaster, maybe pick the house, okay? And vice versa. Or if you're feeling like your mindset has been really bad about a lot of this stuff, so then maybe we go into that, you know, with the emotion, with the gratitude, and some of these other mindset things to reinforce it. So I want you to pick one, maybe two, and focus on that. All right? And definitely focus on your mantra. That one is for sure. Take that reverse engineered or that reinforced mantra statement that you've come up with, or one of these, to help you. And first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and then whenever else you need it. All right? So I can and I will. Okay? I don't want to hear, I don't have time for this, because time is also energy, right? And so you're going to invest some of that energy into you. I'm not asking you to change your entire life. I'm asking you to try one new thing, right? So this is where a little bit of that tough love comes in. You must do at least one thing this week to focus on this area. I want you to continue to do that movement. If you've only done it once, I urge you to do at least 2 to 3 times a week of movement on those videos, okay? Because the more you do it, the more it's going to loosen things up, and the more that will actually even be revealed to you. You can keep the same journaling topic and go deeper each time, or you can change it to one of the other ones that I showed you. But you can and you will. And do you know why? That's why. Because you're awesome. All right, ladies, you've got this. I will see you or talk to you soon. Please, you know I'm here for you. So if you need anything at all, reach out. Bye.